quite a bit to do, but it's the morning and I got a whole day at it here, so I'm going to give her a good effort. I don't know about you, but me for sure, I sometimes kind of lose interest in things or start focusing my attention on things that are new or more exciting. And I really got to be hard on myself to focus on the task that's at hand. And kind of work on the stuff that I have in front of me instead of starting new projects. You know, it's hard sometimes to keep yourself dedicated to just... I've been fighting this freaking cold lately. It's been killing me. At work there where I'm working, we still got lots of work. Like, we've been working all winter long, but we're kind of at just a little bit of a lull right now. Just kind of in between two phases of this certain project, so things are slowed down a bit. So I asked the boss yesterday if I really needed to come in today, and he said I probably didn't. So it's Friday morning, got the whole day. Gonna give her on that engine. Gonna buy some steel. So maybe confusing for some of you guys watching. I currently live in the city. I'm not a city boy by no means, but just I guess just through the situations of life and this and that, I ended up in the city for a while. Just kind of because it's convenient for work for now. So I rented a shop that's a half an hour away from my house that I've had for a year now or more. So my shop's one direction, and then Haley went and bought a farm an hour the other direction. So out at the farm at Haley's, it's an hour from my house. And the shop is a half an hour from my house, the opposite way. So when I go out to my welding shop to work, I'm half an hour from my house. So then when I go to Haley's, from the shop to Haley's, it's an hour and a half. So I go out there with my welding truck to the shop to work. And then if I want to load up my forklift or load up my sawmill engine or something like that, I got to come home, grab my half ton, go back, then drive to Haley's. So my current situation, it's working kind of, but there's a lot of driving involved because everything's so spread out. But I guess it is what it is for now. Rock of Ages USA. Thanks, man. You see what Rock of Ages did the other day? Any of you that's following Rock of Ages, he took the time the other day. He sat down and made a list of all his loyal subscribers and all the people who've been with him for a while that leave comments on his channel. And he sat there and he mentioned all of them. And he said a little piece about each and every one of them. And he mentioned me as well. That's the third time he shouted me out. Thanks, buddy. And I've gained subscribers every time. There's 3 or 4 people at least that subscribe to me. So thank you, new subscribers to my channel from Rock of Ages channel. It's awesome. Thank you very much. Rock of Ages, man, he's a good guy. He didn't have to go and do that, but he did. He took the time to write out all those people's names and say a little piece about all of them, you know, and that shows that it's someone that cares and he's in it for, in it for the people, more so than he's in it for himself. So that's great. At the steel yard, General Steel, getting some metal. Man, it's a beautiful day. It's a great day to not be at work and be working on other projects. So tonight, I want this, and this. And I got another shaft machine, I'll show you later. So I'm gonna unbolt this whole shaft, pick up the back, get that stuff, and that'll be my goal for tonight, and then I can start working tomorrow on the power pack again. Well, here, Curtis. I think if you... stop right there. If I loosen off this taper lock, and we loosen the shiv off, we'll be able to shove this, I don't know, we'll still have to get the How much cranking I just saved you? Just gotta keep hitting it.
How much more you need?
Oh,
Okay. I'm gonna look in the top part of this hole. There might be a set screw in there, I'm not sure. There is.
oh yeah, there is.
There's a hole for a set screw.
There is a set screw. There, yes, is a set screw, Haley.
Alright, you get that, I'll go get the track.
I think you're on the millwright. You know all the millwright tricks.
Yep. Going to belts too?
I don't think so, though. They're not good hot.
I already put the shims on the back of the truck. Keep on.
Okay, take two. I tried take one a few weeks ago and it went horribly wrong. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. There's going to be a few gas leaks, mostly on the other side by the fuel pump where you can't see it. Don't worry about that. We're just going to fire it up for a second and listen to it run. I never tried firing it up yet after take two, so turn the choke on somehow. Right there, okay. Coil on. And come on, you old girl. Start right up last time. Oh, we're up here. Okay. Okay, fuel. Yeah. Fuel. Last time I just touched the button, she ran. Coiled on. Okay. Yeah. exciting about getting engines fired up, isn't there? Just hearing it run for the first time. Yeah. One more time. Ooh, that's nice. Real nice. So when I bought this thing, it had no starter on it. And the starter, he said that the gear exploded on the starter. One day when he went to start it, so he was thinking about putting a V8 in his truck. So one day he went to start it, hit the key, the gear on the starter exploded, and he said that's enough, and he yarded it out. And there was a bit of damage to the ring gear, and there's no starter on it. So I went to Canadian Tire, and this old boy sold me a starter. He said he thought it was the right one, but he wasn't sure. And then it looked like this. I went to put it on, this was bottoming out against the back of the bell housing. I was like, well, maybe there's a spacer or something missing. I don't know, there shouldn't be. So I, in my infinite wisdom, put some washers in between here and put it on. It was sitting on kind of good, not perfectly straight. And I was test cranking it over to test for, see if it's getting fuel and stuff, and it seemed to be working. But the other thing was, I bought this cheapy Princess Auto starter solenoid. So, one of the times when I was checking for fuel, that solenoid stuck on and the starter just kept spinning. And at first I thought it was this push button switch. I kept fiddling with it and it stopped. And it didn't seem to do it again, so I set everything up. So the wrong starter with spacers in it, cheap sticking solenoid, and possibly still some shrapnel left in there from when the starter gear exploded. Fired it up and it just started making the most terrible grinding, howling, banging noises. I shut her down. I shut off the coil, right? Shut it off. And the starter was still spinning, just hammering. So I was quickly trying to pull wires off to get the starter to stop. And so I pulled out the starter and there was just a little handful of just shrapnel. The starter just exploded immediately. So look, that just does that. It's got no drive. Everything that was in there, it's just chunks now. So that was that. So then that kind of knocked the wind out of my sails, and I called her quits, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So today we got the right starter, we got a good solenoid, we got her all hooked up, and she's a runner. So now on to the rest of the drive. I got a shaft made, I got a drive shaft, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to clear some space here and start working on that. Okay, so right starter, that's the correct starter, wrong starter, exploded immediately. Okay, well the teeth all came off the blade of my little bandsaw there. And I thought I had a spare, but I didn't. But it's Sunday, so whatever. I'm just going to call her a day and get this video up for you guys. So here's the unit. Okay, so this drive, the end of this shaft, it's got an 1.25 inch hole. So this here part slides into there. So that slides into there. That gets welded, and then these are pillow blocks off the old arbor. That's one of the reasons we decided to switch out to that other arbor, so that we could steal the parts off this arbor for this drive. So we're not buying all these parts because we already have them. So there's the taper lock and the key. So there's that shaft. And then these are just going to be in slotted holes. And then there's going to be tightener bolts. So going this way, there's going to be channels going straight over to the mill frame. So this whole frame is going to be solid to the mill frame. So it's all going to be one big solid piece. and the belt tighteners are just going to be these bearings sliding back and forth. And the shaft's long enough and has a slide in it, so it can go back and forth and be fine. And then this here is I got a double V pulley that goes on there, and then when I get time to start setting up the air dogs and things, that's going to run the belt drive compressor. So the compressor is going to sit here somewhere or wherever. So there's the belt drive for that. And then I think, now if anyone knows about this, because this has a PTO plate, and Haley had an old Ford service truck that used to have a PTO on it, and a pretty good sized pump. It ran a hydraulic compressor and a picker. So Haley was figuring we can just run the hydraulic pump PTO. And I didn't know with the engine driving at that speed with the PTO engaged, if that would work, if something would get hot, and I don't know. Because they always say, you know, like with a vehicle, a truck or something that's got a picker or something on it, that you're not supposed to drive it down the road with the PTO engaged. So I don't know if that's going to work, but it would be pretty slick just to bolt the PTO to that and have the pump right there, ready made. So I think we're going to try it anyways, and if she blows, she blows. But if anyone has any input on that, you know, running a PTO with the engine driving at the same time, right? With the drive shaft driving at the same time, continuously, if that's going to create any issues. And there she is. So, yeah, I was just looking online at bandsaws. This little saw is okay, it's just a cheapy job, but I've done a lot of cutting with it, but I dropped it one day and broke that, so you got to hold the engine tight. And the biggest pain in the butt with this is to miter it. You got to unbolt it and turn it to miter it, and then you kind of got to turn the whole saw. It's okay, it's good for what it is, and I love it. I was so happy that I bought it at the time, but she's had a hard life. She's done a lot of cutting, so I was looking at I was just looking online there at a few places. I might buy a nice bandsaw here. I might. So that's all I got, guys. I was going to have the spinning today, but whatever. Oh, I ran out of gas, so we'll get this video up. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. Here's the clutch lever. So I'm just going to have a little linkage here somehow in a lever. So you can pull the lever back and lock it into a slot, or lock it into something. Right, fire this up, get it in gear, and then let it out and release it. And that'll be your clutch setup. Yeah, man. Okay, so I think, shit, I'll try to keep myself motivated enough to come out there in the week and work away at this. I'll pick up a blade, and maybe I'll pick up a blade right now. Good enough, guys. Well, I'll go home and eat some supper and get this video up and get ready for work tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. I'm also going to have to devise a way. This governor, right, belt drives down to there. And then there's a wild linkage that goes to the throttle here. So it's wide open there, and that idles it down. So that whole linkage somehow is going to have to get bolted. The governor's going to have to get bolted here. I'm going to use that same belt down to this V. And then that's going to have to go over to this somehow. Some kind of modified. I think I'm going to drill a hole. Right, take the nut off this part of the linkage. Drill a hole here and put that linkage there and modify the length of the rod and have the governor here so that this engine has a governor. So that's going to be another interesting project that I need to do. So if you think this channel is kind of sloughing off, and because I haven't really been putting up much content lately, I assure you there's tons of content coming up. There's axe stuff, there's chainsaw stuff, sawmill stuff, hopefully get some dirt bike stuff cooking here. There's lots I want to do, and there's lots I'm working on, and I'm waiting on parts for some stuff, and content's no issue. It's me having time. And you know, well, I had a cold for like a while, so that kind of kicked my butt a bit, and I'm working quite a bit. But I don't know, I guess everyone in life kind of has their highs and their lows, and I'm just kind of going through a funk here where I'm just exhausted and just kind of dragging my butt all the time. I'm kind of at a low, I don't know. I'm trying to fight through it here. Hopefully things get better and I start feeling better, but I'm doing okay. So yeah, I'm all good. Just working lots and kind of scope of work changed a bit, and it's pretty strenuous crap. So when I come home, I'm pretty much just beat every day. So I'm not whining. I'm not whining. Happy to be here. Happy to be alive. Happy to have the opportunity to work hard enough to be tired when I come home every day. And you know what? It gives me the funds I need to support all the wild crap that I buy and do. So you know, there's something to be said about that. Oh yeah, there's stuff. One thing I forgot about. So there's gonna be some dirt bike stuff, a couple different dirt bike things, chainsaw things, axe things, sawmill things coming at you. And Haley's been cutting some firewood without me, a bugger. How dare him go on his own property and cut his own firewood for himself. He knows that I'm the prime firewood cutter on that property. Ay, ay, ay. So anyways, hopefully you save some wood for me, so in a few weekends when I get some of my crap together, I'll go hammer some trees down for y'all. Okay, right on guys. Thank you so much. Stick with me. There's great things to come. Just bear with me. Have a good one. What was that?